Hey there, can you all relate with this emotional bank of words? I break down the emotions by vibration and how they feel energetically to us. And this particular category really is a sinking feeling. It kind of cuts you off from the outside world, is what it's doing, because you're feeling it. Typically happens after you've had probably a very intense, overwhelming emotional state, and that will sink you down into these emotional vibrational points because it kind of cuts you off. And when you've been in a state of overwhelmment, sometimes the nervous system needs a break from it all, and you'll go into this type of emotional state. The most important thing you need to remind yourself when you yourself are experiencing this is a good thing to whisper to yourself, because you certainly don't want to hear it from somebody else, is that you're not this emotion. You are having a human experience, and that this too shall pass. Now, if you heard that from somebody else, you would probably want to beat the crap out of them. But if you start to really learn and understand your emotional states, understanding that this particular category has a stalemate, and you aren't stuck in it, by the way. You're having an experience. Hence why I've always made the emotions into a wheel. These are all the words of the categories, and this one is here. And to understand that why I made it into a wheel is because moment by moment you are having different emotions depending upon what's going on in your environment and in your head. And when you're in this point, when you're in this state, it's difficult to, it's easy, it's not difficult, it's easy for you to feel so overwhelmed that you wouldn't know what to do. So keeping that in the back of your mind to state to yourself, this is just an emotional experience I'm having, it's not who I am. I am not depression, I am not shameful, I am not hopeless. And not naming that. You're having a hopeless moment. You're having a depressed moment. You are in a state of grief in this moment. That shifts things energetically for you in your psyche. Whether you know it or not, it truly does. Now, what's been brought to my attention is a lot of people are experiencing, because of the coronavirus, people who are experiencing this and they don't know what to do. First of all, unless someone asks, it's difficult for people to take help when they're in that state. Sometimes they just have to be there because they were so overwhelmed, which brought them into that state of mind that they just do need to be in that vibratory state of just kind of cutting everything off, because there's not much movement to those words, to those emotions within the body. If they're safe, right? Every emotion matters. But if there's somebody that you know that is kind of sitting in something that is asking for assistance, what can you do? You can help them get into a neutral state of mind. Because when you are in those categories of shame and grief, things again become to feel overwhelming when you open them back up, because they're going to go back in. The first thing that they're going to want to do is go from those energies into the circumstance that brought them to it, right? And so we don't want to open up that can of worms for them. We want to be able to break it down for them so it seems feasible. It seems feasible. So if you know what the circumstances is, let's say financially they're really in a pickle, then you can help to open up that by just suggesting one thing, and if they're willing, to give them assistance in that one thing, okay? Because remember, a lot of people were in the overwhelmment category. They were feeling stressed and frustrated, and so they had to get to this level to shut it all down. So we don't want to say, how are we going to solve your whole financial situation? What we want to do is say, let's take a look at what we can do in this moment. Well, in this moment, we can contact so-and-so for this. And that's all we're going to do today. And then they're going to feel a little bit more of upliftment. They're going to kind of feel like, okay, this is a possibility. So that's one way in which you can understand more about emotional states, what you're going through, and how you can assist other people. If you'd like more information, give me a holler out and a reach out. I'll be more than glad to support anybody who's going through a big shift in their lives. Blessings.